Jamaica House Weekly, Prime Minister Holness announced measures to address the impact of flood rains, crime, the acceleration of land titling, plus engaged business leaders. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Joy Kelly. In Parliament last week, Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced a raft of measures to return the island to normalcy following the November 16 to 18 passage of Tropical Cyclone 22. The system caused an estimated $409 million in damage to the island's infrastructure. Mr. Holness revealed that a $1.4 billion constituency-based mitigation and cleaning program would be undertaken. This will see $22 million being assigned to each constituency.
The program will implement targeted interventions with the following key priority rankings: the reopening of blocked roads, cleaning of critical drains, which have now been heavily silted, patching of main thoroughfares, which have been scarred, construction of new structures such as retaining walls, river training, small river training if you can do that.
Of the $22 million, $10 million will be spent on road rehabilitation, $6 million on debushing activities, and $3 million each will go towards drain cleaning and garbage collection.
I have directed the NAA to collaborate with all relevant entities, including municipal corporations, to conclude detailed designs and final estimates for any substantial repairs, particularly to roads that may come as a result of this project. I anticipate that work will begin as early as possible and continue into the festive season.
Prime Minister Holness also shared that $330 million has been set aside for a housing assistance program. $5 million will be allocated to each constituency, targeting 100 persons per constituency. This will enable members of Parliament to offer support in the form of minor repairs to houses that were affected by Tropical Cyclone 22.
The idea behind this is to target those households that are vulnerable to weather, particularly leaking roofs or compromised wooden structures, to assist with the replacement of zinc sheets that are compromised, windows or ply sidings that have been compromised.
Prime Minister Holness says East Rural St. Andrew as well as East and West St. Thomas constituencies will receive an additional $3 million each due to the severity of the impact. In the meantime, the Prime Minister says $700 million has been secured to conduct river training on rivers across St. Thomas in the upcoming fiscal year.
The rivers there are not well defined in terms of their boundaries, their embankments. And so if there is a heavy shower of rain and significant volume of water, they tend to overrun and spill over on the plains, which is, in a sense, what makes those lands fertile and arable. But when we are building alongside rivers and we are building in the river parts and we are building in floodplains, then, Madam Speaker, we will have to make the investments in ensuring that we control the flow of the rivers.
And during a tour of communities following the passage of the Tropical Cyclone 22, Mr. Holness called on Jamaicans to consider environmental and climate change issues when deciding where to build their homes.
Land titling is absolutely important for the development of the country.
An additional $1 billion will be made available to process land titles in the next financial year. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the disclosure last Tuesday in Bogwog, St. Catherine, where 130 land titles were delivered. The titles were secured through the National Land Agency's Systematic Land Registration Program.
What we are doing is to establish ownership in a formal way, using the systematic registration of titles.
Mr. Holness says there are approximately 300,000 unregistered parcels of land on the valuation roll. Later in the week, the Prime Minister broke ground for the National Housing Trust's latest development, Royal Estate. The Tivoli Gardens-based property will consist of 144 housing units, 130 of which are duplexes, and the rest are for residential and commercial purposes.
The development is a testimony to your government's unwavering commitment to building not just houses, but communities under the banner of the NHT's Community Renewal Program.
Back at Jamaica House, Prime Minister Holness met with several business leaders. The meetings included Chairman of the Korea Chambers of Commerce, representatives from Carib Cement Company Limited, and members of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica. Mr. Holness then ventured next door to King's House for the Jamaica Civil Service Long Service Awards. Over 600 public servants were recognized for their faithful service to the government and people of Jamaica. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.